Hi friends, Robin here from Cheese from Scratch, and today I want to show you what it is that you need to hand milk your cow. We're going to be talking equipment today, setup down in the barn, all sorts of different things like that, and I hope by the end of the video you'll kind of have an idea of what it is that you actually need to have on hand when you have a milk cow and you're planning on hand milking her. I just want to show you where I keep my milking equipment, and this is absolutely not ideal. I keep it in my bathroom. We have one and only bathroom in the house, and so I keep it in the corner of the bathroom just because I use the sink to wash all my equipment and everything like that. It's easy to kind of sanitize and clean it up after I'm all done. So that's why I keep it in the bathroom. So definitely not ideal, but kind of a showcasing of, yeah, you can just, you know, have a really simple setup and it will work as well. My dream is to have a nice little wire shelf here, and I actually have it on my list. I'm gonna get it next time I go to town. I've decided it's time for a wire shelf just to make things a little bit nicer. This works good enough. It's just things are always trying to fall off, but again, just another showcase of you don't need anything fancy, you can just make it work. So all this is an old fridge rack from just an old refrigerator that quit working. So just something to elevate it up off the surface there for when it's drying. So I'm going to go over all of the equipment I have in here, and then when we go down to the barn I'll kind of show you everything that I have down here. Now this corner of the house is also sort of our calving equipment, emergency vet equipment, drying area. So we have a whole other area for where we keep vet supplies and stuff on our ranch, but we kind of just hang all of these things that need to be hung here. So that is also what's going on in this corner. So first thing that you're gonna need is some rags. So we just cut up, like this is Zach's old sweater. This is an old tea towel. You know, we cut up socks, just any sort of old rags. And every morning before, I'm just going to show you how I get ready for milking. So this is just a little container. I'm going to throw that in there, and then I just put a little bit of soap and water and get these cloths all nice and damp, and then I take a dry one as well, and that comes down to the barn with me. I have two of these buckets. They're 2-liter buckets. One's actually down in the barn. I left it there last night because I always take two buckets down. Sometimes I need both of them. So, usually in the morning I do need both of them, but in the evenings I haven't. I've only needed one. So yeah, took it down last night. And so my other one's down there, but yeah, they're 2-gallon buckets, or 10 liter. Okay, not quite 2 gallons, they're 10 liters. If you watch my last Alpine video, you know that I struggle with this measurements. Okay, then we have a strainer. I'll show you how that works afterwards. These are old vintage strainers from Wisconsin. When my husband moved to Canada from Wisconsin, he brought these from their old dairy farm. We've got a couple of them. They're really awesome. I actually haven't seen ones quite like this. When people are showing me their milking equipment and everything like that, I haven't seen ones quite like this, but there are some on Amazon that are sort of similar. Then you're going to need a bucket to strain into. So when I come back in, I'll show you how I strain into this bucket, and then we go into jars. So those are all the equipments that I kind of have on hand in the bathroom here. I also have this specific bucket here that's just for rags, just for milk cow rags, just so that it keeps it all nice and clean. And then, oh, the ever so popular farmhouse fly tape. So you definitely want to fly tape in the area that you keep your milking equipment, because flies tend to like the smell of milk, and if you're in an area where you're cleaning milk and stuff, inevitably, even if you're very clean, you're going to find some flies. Alright, so a little bit of soap, just regular dish soap I use, and then I just get these damp. I don't even like worry about having. So if you are watching this video in the winter and it's really cold, oh yeah, you got a silly face. If you're watching this video in the winter and it's really cold, you can use a thermos with warm water, and your cow will really thank you for that, and you will thank yourself for that when you go to wash her. You can also just use baby wipes to wash your cow if she's being pretty clean. I find that baby wipes actually do a pretty good job. So when I do have baby wipes, I just keep a pack down in the barn because sometimes you do forget to bring your rags too. So that's a nice little hack. These strainer filters here. So these I just buy at the regular feed store. You can buy them at on Amazon as well, and so they will just fit into the strainer, and I'll show you how they fit into there after as well. So this bucket right here has a nice little lid, and so I do recommend that whatever bucket you are bringing to the barn has a lid, and so that's going to be helpful for you and keep your milk nice and clean. So this bucket, this rag, and a dry rag are coming down to the barn with me. So nice little dry rag, and this whole little package is going to come down to the barn. I really like these buckets because everything can just sit on top of them. Super handy. I have chick mayhem right now. This little chicken just had so many babies. I wonder if I can zoom in on how many she has. There's like so many. I can't count them. I've gotten numbers between 12 and 15. So I think there's at least 12. Cute. Hey, sweetie. All right. All right, so this is my milking stall here. Hey, Susan. So I've got a head gate here. You don't need as fancy as a setup as a head gate. Like if you just have like a regular milking stanchion or anything like that, like a homemade one. I'm pretty lucky to have a head gate because it is a really good kind of restraining device if you need to do other things like AI or I don't know what else you would have to do, pull calf, anything like that. So the head gate is nice for that because once they're in, they really can't get out. It's not like a wooden homemade stanchion where they could break it if they got really upset. So I like the head gate for that, but again, it's just kind of fancy. You can milk with much simpler setups than having a head gate. As far as my little milking table goes here, so I have a halter just because I'm halter training my heifer right now, but that's not anything that I use with my current milk cow. I've got a little setup of fly spray, scissors just in case I need to clip her tail or anything, a brush, teat dip. So iodine teat dip I highly recommend using after you milk, and the reason for that is that their teats, the canals stay open for about 20 minutes after you milk, and so it's a really vulnerable time for mastitis. So I apply this after I milk. Some people apply a pre-teat dip as well, so you can research that. This is something fell in there, gross. This is some udder balm cream that I have on hand here. Baby wipes, as I said, I sometimes use these to wash if I forget my rags. Both packs are out, so I have to get some more. I also have a garbage down here that's kind of getting full. All right, I've got my 2 buckets. I always bring 2, just so that you make sure that you have enough. I always keep a cup in the barn. That's just so that if you need to like strip something out, or if you're having an issue, it's just handy to have a cup around. Hand sani, very helpful. I have bag balm in here, and I usually have Dynamint cream, but I'm all out. This is just part of my vet kit. You don't need to have that. And then a big jar of the germicide teat dip. So it's just where's the concentration of it? I thought it had the concentration on it. Oh, there we go. That's the one that I have. Yeah, all right, so I'm gonna get Annabelle in. So right now, I talked about in a couple videos ago that I was gonna start locking up Cammie at night and then doing like a calf sharing thing. well, we were calf trying before, but locking her up at night and then only milking once a day. She was still producing too much milk, so I ended up locking Cammy up at night, every night I do, and then I still end up milking twice a day and still getting quite a bit of milk. So we're gonna put, I'm gonna bring Annabelle in, I milk out her back teats, and then I leave the front ones for Cammy in the morning. And then Cammy goes out with Annabelle all day, and then tonight I bring them in, lock up Cammy, milk Annabelle completely out, and then they stay separated for the night. So I'm gonna let her in now. So she pooped as soon as we got into the milking stall, so which reminds me, very good to have sawdust and a shovel. Also very good to have like a poop bucket, so if you are able to put a little bit of sawdust in the bottom of it, and then you're able to catch the poop or the pee, that's very handy as well, but make sure you put some sawdust in the bottom of it, because else it will be a big splattery mess. So I'll get some new sawdust in here and then we'll start to milk. So also handy to, if you've got like a little Rubbermaid bucket or like a board or something to set your milking bucket on underneath them, especially if the ground is sort of gross, so it's just going to keep the bottom of your bucket nice and clean. I don't have anything like that, but it'd be handy if you were feeling like having something like that. Oh, should do it again. Do a little bit of cream onto their teats before you start milking. Some cows you don't need to do this, but other cows just get really dry teats, and it does help with that. I think it's related to the iodine teat dip a lot, because it does dry out their teats. So I like a little nice mild cream base to put on there, and that's just going to help not be so dry, and also just help with lubrication for milking. Something to tie the tail up is also nice. I have a rope over there. Nice frothy thing of milk. Alright, so now just put the lid over top. Because it's too foamy, the foam has to go down. Put the lid over top just in case she poops or something, so it won't get in. And then now I'm gonna do a little bit of teat dip. I only do teat dip in the mornings on the back teats because I strip the back teats out. And then I leave the front ones for Cammy, and she's gonna suck on them right away anyways. And calves have something in their saliva that kind of close off the teat ducts, so they're more effective at it than we are. So I don't really only do it on the back teats in the morning, but I do it on all four at night. And Bella out, and Cammy in. Over snack up there, Cammy, for your breakfast. Sorry for the snack. want to think about in the barn is a place to feed their grain. So I have this little bucket here. I've been trying to get Annabelle to eat grain. She doesn't like it, but working on her. She'll eat a few mouthfuls, but won't eat much at all anymore. As far as my milking area goes, it's a pretty nice setup. You know, it's primitive in that it's like not stainless steel everything, you know, there's dirt, but it's clean. It's gonna keep my milk clean, but it's nice because it's got a roof. So I milked for years in an area that didn't have a roof, and it wasn't as nice, you know. In the winter it wasn't as nice, and when it was raining it was not nice at all. So having a roof over your area is so nice. Yeah, it just makes it so much better. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention too, if you've got a new milk cow that's a heifer, having a kick bar is really handy. Or a milk cow that is like hasn't been milked much, or she's new to you, having a kick bar is super handy. Yeah. Also, having power in your milking area is nice, because if you're milking at night, but a headlamp will be fine. It works. Having a cat dish, very important. And then I just close this door to my milking stall, as you can see in there. And so I make sure that you want to make sure that your cow doesn't have access to your milking area, because I have had it where a cow has gotten stuck in the head gate before. I accidentally forgot the gate open. She walked in. Who knows how long she was there before I found her. So they will walk themselves into the head gate and they will get themselves stuck there. So making sure that it's got a securely fastened latch. So Cammie is all done her breakfast, and I'm gonna head up and clean the milk. So we're back in the bathroom, and this is the point of the video where you get to see how primitive things really are. So I take my rag and I wash the bottom of my bucket outside so that I'm not bringing gross stuff in. And then I strain my milk right in the bathtub, so I'm gonna show you that. Please no hate. Bad comments, I'll block you. I don't know if you can block people on YouTube, but this is the setup that I have. It works really good for our family. We've done this for the last 10 years. It's not ideal, it's not fancy, but it works really well. Come on, stuff. So first things first is all those rags from the barn, squeeze them out, but then I throw them into the rag bin. And then I'll wash this. So I throw this into my wash water over here. Give my hands a quick wash. Okay. So now I'll show you how I strain. So as I said, I've got the collection bucket in here. So I put that down first off in the bottom, and then I've got my strainer. And so these strainer filters that I talked about, they're just gonna set into there like that. These are disposable. And then you're just going to take your piece like this, and it just fits snugly into there. So strainer filters, they all look different, or like strainers, they all look different. This is just how mine's set up, but if it's got a strainer filter in there, good to go. Alright, so put that in there. And I like to do this in the bathtub because then it just limits splatter. It's easier to clean out. Milk strains through there. Wash my hands again because I just touched the bottom of my bucket. Once it's all strained through, I just take this and I set it on top of my other bucket, and then I take my nice clean milk, which is right here, this full bucket, and I put it on the counter where it'll be safe for a second. I take my strainer filter lid off, and I look at my filter for any clumps or chunks, because that can be your first sign of mastitis. Looks good. There's no chunks or anything on there, but always a good idea to just have a peek. And you can see there's a little bit of dirt on there, but not too much. Yeah. Alright, so I wash the strainer filter off too, and then I throw it in the garbage just so that limit flies. That's the plan there. The thing I highly recommend you have if you have a milk cow is a milk fridge. So this is supposed to just be my milk fridge, but it's got cow medicine in it, it's got baby carrots, it's got all the milk, my cheese brine. All back here is all my cheeses that we're currently eating, so that's what's filled back there. Wine, beer, you know, everything gets piled into this fridge, but it's specifically a milk fridge, and you also need a lot of milk jars. So these are actually all the jars that I have. I don't have any more jars than this, and it's kind of purposeful because if I have any more jars than that, I shouldn't be using that milk to make cheese. Is my feeling on that. That milk is too old. So today is actually a cheese making day. So the milk that I milked out this morning is going to go directly into the cheese pot. All of these jars are going to be skimmed, and then the skim milk is going to go into the cheese pot, and then I'll wash the jars and I either store them right in the refrigerator or store them just in an easy place to grab them. If you watched my video a couple weeks ago, I talked about how Zach was going to build me a canning shelf. So this is the one that he ended up building me. So all my canning can go here, and it fits my cheese pot. So that is my really massive cheese pot that I used in the last video. The one where I made an 8-gallon batch of Asiago, and it wasn't even, not even close to being full. So very nice. And I can also press my cheese on top because it's got a nice extra surface, which this kitchen really could use some extra surfaces in it because we tend to, you know, have a lot going on in here. Speaking of which, so I'm going to be bringing my cheese pot over. I've got to change out my pressure canner because I did some broth in the pressure canner this morning. And then once I change that over, I can put my cheese pot on, throw my milk from this morning in, and there you have it. Thank you guys for watching my video. If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. My name is Robin from Cheese From Scratch. I don't know if I said that already, but I would love for you guys to subscribe and watch more of my videos because I'm trying to post a video every Monday. So see you next week. Bye.